I swear. My head is everything here. My head is everything. Bum. I hope this. Then I hope this. Bum. 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 Okay? Bum. 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 The fight is over here. The fight is over here. And then I want this head. Bum. 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 From here. Bum. 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 End the fight. Forever. All day, all night. Why? His head is right here. Please.
My strong rockets. These are missiles, yeah. These are fucking missiles.
I mean, he's the most dynamic personality the sport's ever known.
And he was, for a time there, just such an unbelievable fighter. I mean, he was it was incredible what he was doing.
The Eddie Alvarez fight.
Oh yeah, I was there.
Example.
I was there. Well, thanks to you. With really good seats, thanks to you. But that was one of the best. That might be the best fight I've ever been to live, because that whole card was just stacked, and that as the main event was just unbelievable.
Bro, he was in the Matrix. He was in the Matrix. He was just in the zone. You know, Dana said it best. He's like, that kid eats pressure. He goes, he eats it.
Yeah.
Like, he thrives on pressure. Pressure that makes other people wilt.
Yes.
He, like, shines under that pressure.
And he had an amazing ability, even very early in his career, which was, like, kind of, it was really unique, like, because even, like, on his first fight ever, if you watch his first fight in the UFC, against, like, Brimage, I think the guy's name is, and he was a relatively unknown at the time, but, dude, the place is going nuts. He already had made so much kind of like street cred for himself, and then the Irish thing, like the Irish were really, really into it. But he, from the very first fight, he would always create these moments where it's like, dude, this is going to be the biggest spectacle that my opponent has ever been in their career. Like, I'm going to get you mad with shit talking. I'm going to get the fans so excited, because he's completely comfortable there.
Right.
Like, I'm not sure if you're really comfortable here, but and so it would, and even with Aldo, who had been the entire division. He literally, when they started the division, they started him as champion. He didn't even win it. He came in because they absolved the WEC. So he was the entire featherweight division, had just dominated everyone, and he even created such a moment that like Aldo was like
he was the boogeyman.
Yeah, dude, he was incredible.
He's
one of the greatest
one of the greatest
all time.
featherweights of all time.
But he got him to the point where he was like so furious that he was like, I'm gonna take this fucking guy's head off. And then Conor's just like relaxed. He's like he didn't care about any of the shit talking. He was just like, we're having fun. Let's play.
He lost his composure. Yeah, and he looked very overwhelmed by the moment. And by the way, everyone from Ireland came to Vegas for that fight. It was the nuttiest thing I've ever seen in my fucking life. The entire Mandalay Bay was overcome with
expected, Max, because I'm in fast. I tell you this, how are you doing after your 5-round fight with Oliveira? I thought some of the shots went for the back of the head. You had an opportunity to repay the favor you didn't take. I was disappointed in the result and the outcome of the bout and the shape the bout took. But how's the body? How are you feeling?
What it is, bro.
How's Hawaii?
I'm good.
I look forward to seeing you
Hawaii's
again in Las
great.
Vegas.
Hawaii's great, brother. Hawaii's great. I can't wait to see you in the ninth island, brother. How's Dublin? I heard you're sleeping in the gym, so that's great to hear, man. We're glad to have you back. I can't wait to get in there and mix it up, bro. We're gonna make some records.
Max, your fight with Conor was an early loss in your career, and I know you've been very vocal about wanting to get that victory back.
Oh, for sure. For sure. It's super fun, you know what I mean? But in Conor's words, I don't even think that's a loss. He said he only count finishes. And last time I checked, that was a decision. So we're on over into this fight, and
I like this. I like this. Good. Ring the bell.
I like it.
Conor McGregor is once again commanding attention, and his highly anticipated comeback raises numerous inquiries about the trajectory of his career in mixed martial arts. Following a series of physical setbacks and extended periods of inactivity in recent years, many observers are pondering whether McGregor can truly recapture his peak performance level, especially with a looming showdown against Max Holloway that is rapidly building excitement. As McGregor diligently continues his training regimen and engages with the press, the buzz surrounding his next Octagon appearance steadily intensifies. The pivotal question that remains on everyone's mind is whether McGregor possesses the capacity to rise to this formidable occasion and reinstate his previous eminence, or if the immense pressure of confronting a formidable adversary like Holloway will ultimately prove to be an insurmountable hurdle.
There's only one reason that Conor McGregor hasn't fought in the last at least 2 years, right? Since the Michael Chandler pullout, or, rescheduling that bout. It's because the UFC, they see the value of Conor McGregor and they don't want to waste it. But at the same time, it makes for a very difficult conversation and a very difficult scheduling for Conor McGregor. They know that they want to put him on a massive card. They want to make sure that they get the most value out of Conor because they're going to pay him a shit ton of money. So they need to get value out of him. And they want to make sure that they can either try to renegotiate with him to keep him under contract, or maybe they don't work as hard to put Conor in a fight if he's not being as receptive to renegotiations or receptive to, whatever the number is they want to give him for a fight. There's always some kind of negotiation issue. There's always some kind, because Conor is, as he said, Abriel, they said I was toast, but I'm still the bread, mate. It's true. He is the cash cow moneymaker, even still today, 11 years later after winning his first title. That says something. And it's why he hasn't been able to fight, because they want to be very selective, and they're going to iron out every little contingency in his contracts before they get him a fight. It's ridiculous, but it's the way the UFC works. And Zuffa Boxing, you better get ready.
Obviously, he's coming up against Max Holloway in a great fight. How do you see that matchup between those two?
Personally, I think because it's at welterweight, I see Conor knocking him out. Like, everyone's counting Conor out and thinks that Max is going to win. If it goes to the later rounds, yeah, Max definitely probably start piecing him up on the feet because he's got that cardio and the volume, but the fact that it's at welterweight, I think, favours Conor, because Charles made Max look small at lightweight. So imagine how big Conor's going to look compared to him at welterweight.
That's the fight. If Conor McGregor beats Max Holloway beat Justin Gaethje. So the UFC can legitimately make Justin Gaethje versus Conor McGregor immediately. And you put Conor McGregor in a fucking title fight. If he has a really good performance against Max Holloway, which feels very unlikely, but let's say it happens, what a fucking fight. Because Justin Gaethje's stock has gone through the roof after the White House. I mean, he's a bona fide legend now. That would be a fucking amazing fight. And that point was pretty much the end of the interview, actually. So yeah, McGregor, is he changing? I think he is, but I think it's going to be a constant battle, and one that he might get knocked down in a few times more before he eventually comes to the point that you kind of hope he would come to. But at least we're seeing some resemblance of a humbleness about him, and just speaking like a man who's actually learned a thing or two over the years, which I think for a long time it was amazing how he was.
I felt like they could have done announcement with Conor and Holloway at the White House. I feel like that would have went really well for them. I think that would have been cool. I was also thinking about this on the drive-in. One of the reasons, many of reasons, they didn't put Conor on the White House card. Number one is the ticket sales, right? You can tell he's a big draw. Number two is, can you imagine the backlash that the left, CNN, would have ran with if Conor, with his accusations in Dublin, going through, the grape stuff and all that?
That's interesting.
I bet you that had a hand in it, where they're like, hey, this is the White House. We're already getting a ton of shit for it. Do we really want Conor's comeback fight after going through all those legal issues in Dublin being at the forefront of this? And the ticket sales, they're like, it's just a lose-lose. I bet you that had something to do with it. They didn't want that negative attention stealing the storylines.
Michael Bisping recently underscored the profound importance of this forthcoming bout in shaping Conor McGregor's lasting professional legacy. Bisping voiced reservations regarding McGregor's ongoing relevance within the sport and speculated whether this particular contest will ultimately serve as the defining moment of his professional journey. He pointed out that a defeat would undeniably furnish critics with abundant material to thoroughly reassess McGregor's entire body of work. Conversely, Bisping fondly recalled the critical elements that propelled McGregor to unparalleled superstardom, specifically referencing his dominant triumph over Eddie Alvarez to become the UFC's inaugural simultaneous two-division champion, alongside his spectacular knockout victory against Jose Aldo.
But the sport has evolved, and I don't know if Conor McGregor necessarily has. Now, this is a big fight for him, for the sport, for his legacy, right? Because a lot of people are going to talk shit. If he loses this fight, fair weather fans, new people are going to be like, oh yeah, he doesn't seem like he was that good. The McGregor back in the day was that good. That's plain and simple. The way that he took out Eddie Alvarez, That was just beautiful. The Jose Aldo thing, that was one punch that was perfectly timed, incredible. But when he became double champ against Eddie Alvarez, that was a masterclass performance, okay? And then on the microphone saying, I'm going to apologize to absolutely nobody, standing there with the 2 belts on, the first person to ever do it.
I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody. The double champ does what the he wants.
It was incredible. I'm not glazing the guy. No one can deny that. And that's why he became the biggest star on the planet. And that's why he got opportunities to go and face someone like Floyd Mayweather and make the ridiculous amount of money that he...
Michael Bisping also indicated that Conor McGregor's mental state appears to have undergone a significant transformation in anticipation of his next fight. McGregor reportedly displays a more composed demeanor, coupled with a keen awareness of the considerable implications of this particular contest. Bisping observed that McGregor now recognizes he can no longer afford the same level of imprudence he might have exhibited in earlier fights, a realization undoubtedly influenced by his advancing age. The stakes are undeniably elevated, with the looming possibility of retirement adding immense pressure and the risk of a decline in his standing among the sport's all-time greats should he suffer a loss.
He lives a quiet life on the island of Hawaii, okay, on Hilo or whatever whichever island it is, I'm not too sure off the top of my head. Max Holloway. Where's he come from? Honolulu? I don't know off the top of my head. Let me know in the comment section, please. But still, what do you think about McGregor, this new version of himself? He does seem to have calmed down a little bit. He does seem to be taking this one very, very seriously. And he has to. Because if he doesn't get the job done here, at 38 years old, and I think he'll be turning 39 3 days after the fight, if he loses, people will be saying...
The discourse surrounding Conor McGregor's impending clash continues to gather momentum, with a variety of viewpoints contributing to the ongoing discussion. Michael Bisping, as mentioned, recently highlighted the critical role this fight plays in solidifying McGregor's enduring legacy. Meanwhile, Paddy Pimblett is confidently forecasting a triumphant return for McGregor, proposing that a strategic transition to the welterweight division could be highly advantageous. Pimblett postulates that such a move would afford McGregor a substantial size and strength superiority over Max Holloway, potentially paving the way for a decisive knockout victory in the initial rounds of the fight. However, he also acknowledged the critical caveat that if Holloway manages to endure the early onslaught, his renowned relentless offensive style could ultimately grant him the crucial advantage needed to seize control of the bout.
Obviously, he's going up against Max Holloway in a great fight. How do you see that matchup between those two?
Personally, I think because it's that welterweight, I see Conor knocking him out. Like, everyone's counting Conor out and thinks that Max is going to win. If it goes to the later rounds, yeah, Max definitely probably start piecing him up on the feet because he's got that cardio and the volume, but the fact that it's at welterweight I think favours Conor because Charles made Max look small at lightweight, so imagine how big Conor's going to look compared to him at welterweight.
The dialogue regarding Conor McGregor's return extends significantly beyond the confines of the fighting arena itself. Brendan Schaub recently offered his perspective on the probable reasons behind the UFC's decision to omit McGregor from a potential appearance at the White House. Despite acknowledging that an official announcement of a McGregor versus Max Holloway fight would undoubtedly generate substantial public interest, Schaub opined that the organization likely sought to circumvent any potential complications. He posited that McGregor's ongoing legal challenges and the associated intense media scrutiny could have inadvertently diverted attention from the intended focus of the event, thereby overshadowing its primary objective.
Could have done announcement with Conor and Holloway at the White House. I feel like that would have went really well for them. I think that would have been cool. I was also thinking about this on the drive-in. One of the reasons, many of reasons, they didn't put Conor on the White House card. Number one is the ticket sales, right? You can tell he's a big draw. Number two is, can you imagine the backlash that the left, CNN would have ran with if Conor, with his accusations in Dublin, going through, the grape stuff and all that?
That's interesting.
I bet you that had a hand in it where they're like, hey, this is the White House. We're already getting a ton of shit for it. Do we really want Conor's comeback fight after going through all those legal issues in Dublin being at the forefront of this? And the ticket sales, they're like, it's just a lose-lose. I bet you that had something to do with it. They didn't want that negative attention stealing the storylines.
YouTube commentator Brian Davis recently articulated his comprehensive thoughts on Conor McGregor's professional trajectory, probing the underlying causes of his career's decline subsequent to his initial meteoric success. Davis expressed considerable bewilderment at McGregor's prolonged period of inactivity while still bound by contract, concurrently recognizing that his rapid ascent was undeniably one of the most compelling narratives in the entire history of mixed martial arts. Nevertheless, Davis asserted his belief that the intervening years have represented a regrettable squandering of immense talent. He proceeded to outline a plausible future for McGregor, suggesting that a dominant showing against Max Holloway could potentially lead to a highly anticipated confrontation with Justin Gaethje, and perhaps even an improbable title fight, though he viewed this last prospect as highly unlikely. Davis further observed that McGregor appears to be cultivating a more humble and introspective demeanor. Separately, Logan Paul characterized Conor McGregor as the ultimate benchmark for larger-than-life personalities within combat sports, underscoring his unparalleled influence that reverberates far beyond the octagon. Following a personal encounter with McGregor in Washington, D.C., Paul confirmed that McGregor's charisma is every bit as potent in person as it appears on screen. Yet, Paul cautioned that McGregor's comeback would be fraught with difficulties, largely attributable to his extensive hiatus from active competition and the formidable elite opponents he is set to face. Michael Chandler, who was originally slated to welcome McGregor back to the octagon, conveyed profound respect for Max Holloway, describing him as one of the most revered competitors in the sport. Chandler affirmed his belief that Holloway was the quintessential choice to step in as McGregor's opponent. In a different vein, Wade Plemons argued that substantial financial rewards no longer serve as McGregor's primary driving force, given his vast entrepreneurial success and immense wealth accumulated outside the octagon. Instead, Plemons views this comeback as a deeply personal endeavor, fueled by an intrinsic desire to compete and rigorously test himself against formidable adversaries. He contended that the UFC has meticulously orchestrated the timing for McGregor's return to maximize its commercial value, capitalizing on his unparalleled global appeal. Plemons further intimated that intricate contract negotiations and complex financial deliberations have considerably complicated the entire process, rendering every decision surrounding McGregor's return profoundly significant. The central question persists: can Conor McGregor once again defeat Max Holloway, or will Holloway finally achieve his long-awaited retribution? Conor McGregor's return is an event brimming with anticipation, with a myriad of factors in play. His career trajectory and future prospects hang precariously in the balance, as he meticulously prepares to confront one of the most challenging opponents in the entire sport.